What's going on, everybody? Today I'm working on my 72 Chevelle Malibu. I'm going to be replacing the steering column because this car did not come with keys and the steering column was broken. So I already pulled the driver's seat out. I'm going to vacuum the carpet up because this car looks like it hasn't been vacuumed in 20 years. But you can see the steering column's all busted up. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on releasing this. First thing I'm going to do is disconnect the shift linkage. So you can see that down there. Shift linkage is behind the power booster. This little rod that comes up, you can see it right there. That rod that comes up is the shift linkage. So let's see if I can get a good angle of it so you can see that, but there it is right there. So it's just got a little clip in the back. You pull that clip out and then disconnect the shift linkage, and the next thing will be the steering shaft, which it's got a bolt going through. You can see right there. Pull that bolt out, and then I'll work on taking the bolts out from underneath the center, or excuse me, underneath the steering column. All right, so you can see here the rod. Where's that? Right there. That rod right there was the shift linkage on the column. I removed the 11/16 bolt out of the shaft right there. This is the clip for the column shift linkage. Next step is going to be taking off this kick panel right here on the back. There's 2 3/8 bolts in it. So I'm going to remove that and then see what's behind this insulation, because I think there's 3 more screws that hold that insulation piece around the steering column against the firewall. And then up here, I'm going to take the 4 1/2-inch bolts out and then take the 9/16 nuts off on either side, and the steering column should come down. And then I'll look at all the wiring to remove. And right now I don't like how this wire is just hanging here like this. I'm going to fix that while I'm in here also, and whatever other electrical I could see that's missing, it needs to be in its right place. All right, just as I expected, there are bolts holding it to the firewall. Looks like 1 2 3 4 5 bolts holding to the firewall for that firewall bracket to hold the steering wheel or the steering column against the firewall. So it's been about 20 years since I've worked on a Chevelle, so it's bringing back a lot of memories right now and all this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those 5 3/8 bolts, and then I'll remove that center 3/8 bolts that's like the retainer bracket on the firewall to put on the new steering column. All right, so the steering column is out. You can see the drive gear there, or the shaft for the steering column right there. I'm going to try to see if I can line it up the best I can. And I removed the plate that goes around the steering column. That was the issue. It wasn't coming up around that brake pedal and around the speedometer cable. So I removed the bracket, this piece and this piece. These 2 pieces go around it with the padding and insulation. I'm going to put that back after I get the steering column in here and positioned in place. Then I can wrap that piece around there and get it mounted up. So another piece on the new column, the used column that I bought, was this piece was missing. So I took it off the old one, mounted it up properly. I greased the output shaft for the steering column, and let's get this guy in. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but the output shaft of the steering column has a flat spot for that bolt to go through and line up. So I'm having a real tough time to do it by myself. If I had somebody like holding it up on the inside, and I could be turning it slightly left to right. But since I'm out here by myself, I'm gonna start taking off the rag joint right here. So the front bolt is a the front one is a 1/2-inch and the back's 9/16. So there's 2 bolts in there. I'm gonna go ahead and start taking that apart. All right, so I've remounted the new shaft, or the new steering column rather, with the shaft in place. Tightened up all the bolts. This bolt right here, this guy was actually missing. So luckily for me, I carry a lot of spare bolts. I was able to put that one back. It's back up in here. What I'm working on right now is on the inside. I'm just mounting up the firewall bracket, and from there I'm going to be come back out here and line up the transmission rod, the column shift linkage right there, that rod on the back of the valve cover. So inside of here you can see the New steering wheel. Everything's plugged in as it should be. And I'm just mounting that bracket against the firewall right now. Alright, so I just finished mounting up the firewall bracket. That's all mounted up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the insulation back, the padding, cover this all up. That goes back here. Clean up the wiring. And I'm going to check those fuses while I'm down here. But first, I'm going to finish mounting this guy up. Sorry for the camera moving around so much, but I'm trying to get it all done. I'm going to mount that pad up, and I'm going to mount up the kick plate, and we'll be done. We'll get this padding and kick plate done. All right, kick plate's all bolted up. Everything's plugged in. I'm going to take this connection apart right here and seal that, secure that properly with a proper connection. And I'm going to be checking all these fuses. I see at least 3 or 4 of them blown out, but now you can at least hear the horn clicking. That's the horn clicking, so I'm not sure if the horns are not plugged in or if the car doesn't even have horns. I haven't even checked. But I'm going to go back out and connect the transmission shift column, the transmission column shift linkage, excuse me, and put the other bolt that goes through the top of the steering shaft, of the output shaft. So you can see the, where the heck am I here? Here it is. This thing is plugged in to the transmission column. Come on, baby. It's a little tight. There it goes. That's through, and put the little pin through. Pins right here. Put that on. I'm gonna put the camera down or the phone down right now so I can finish putting this on properly. All right, everything's all mounted up inside the engine bay, tightened up. Steering column looks good. Put the seat back in, seats back in. Passenger seat's not bolted in, but got the driver's seat in. Let's see, give me some room here. Moment of truth with keys. Good. We are working. That's good. Next, I'm going to finish cleaning up this side of the car, get the door panels in, clean this all out on the inside, and I'm looking at a new headliner because this one's pretty tore up. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.